Inner child?
I can give you an instance because we were talking about this last night, and I was talking about specifically my anger towards my dad, and like I felt as if, you know, he was kind of saying like, you know, like let's rephrase this, let's kind of think a more higher vibrational way of thinking of this. When also, but I was kind of like, but at what point am I invalidating my inner child's anger, you know? So like when we're ready to release that, I suppose, is when we kind of step into that higher frequency. Or
A light bug on your face. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just blinking.
It's beautiful.
It was just blinking.
So, what I feel like I'm hearing you say is whenever you think of certain situations with your father, you in some way enjoy the anger that you have for him.
Yeah.
So that's staying in a victim mindset.
Yeah.
Because it's not serving you.
Yeah.
And your father did the best he could with what he knew. Yeah. And also provided you those experiences for you to grow from. You created them. We created this entire experience so that we could have this information and this knowledge to be able to move forward and of service to others. So it does not serve us to hold on to anger for our parents who quite literally did the best that they could with what they knew, where their consciousness is. And you would be, if you did not have an expanded consciousness, if you were not awake in this reality, you would be continuing this pattern. That would be your choice. So what I feel like is you're on the fence of deciding. I'm validated. It's justified for me to be angry that happened to me as a child. True. This is true. However, you are not a child anymore, and it does not serve you or the healing of your child to hold on to the anger. So what we need to do to be able to move forward and unlock that trauma and heal from it and clear that from our DNA is to choose forgiveness and find some way for us to forgive those moments where our parents really neglected us, neglected the grace that parents should have for us, and forgive for ourselves, not for them. I don't forgive my mother for the abuse because I want her to feel better. I forgive because I feel better with forgiveness in my heart than holding on to all of the anger I used to have and all of the memories I used to have. What's beautiful about releasing the anger and forgiveness is that it unlocks those traumas and releases them from our energetic field and releases them from our DNA, which means we aren't triggered by them. Because whatever your father did to you in those traumas that you replay, you are allowing that to affect your relationships in your life. Just unconsciously, because we have trauma. So the more we can heal the trauma through our choice of forgiveness, does not make it right in any way, but when we can truly choose love in all aspects, especially for parents who were told to be in the program, your parents are supposed to be this way, and if they're not, then they're bad parents. That's part of the program. That's part of us to take on that trauma, because we have this idea of what they're supposed to be like. They're just humans. They're just our portals that we chose to come in through, so that we could learn lessons from them. The lessons you learn is how to be a more loving, graceful, compassionate parent because of how the parental experience you had. And you're learning how to forgive in situations where a lot of times in our 3D mind we say, I'm not hell no, I won't forgive that person for that. They shouldn't have done that to me. That was bad. That was awful. It's true. That was awful. But it does not serve us to hold anger in our heart.
Yeah.
But did we create that though to learn?
Yeah, we create everything.
Yeah.
Not as a child going,
Yeah.
like thinking about it. I really hope my dad beats me today. Boom, you create it. No, it's in our contract. We created our male portal to be abusive or to be absent or be an alcoholic, so that we can have all of these experiences, and then when we become conscious and we start making our own choices, then we learn these things when we're waking up. But a victim is never awake.
Yeah.
You cannot be the same. You cannot be both. You cannot be awake and have an expanded consciousness and still be a victim. You will always be on the fence in 4D. You can't go any further. Answer your question?
Answers the question.
You have to think too, that inner child loved her dad. Loved him. And although there were maybe disappointments or whatever y'all's relationship was, she loved her dad. And so you are empowering your inner child if you can circle back to that and give and show love. And then you get to show her love more so.
Yeah.
Because it was the same with me. I loved my dad. Loved, oh my God, I was so in love with my dad. And it was a constant disappointment. And the older I got, the more disappointed I would get. So the more anger I had. And so I had rage because of it. And then when I woke up and I started working on myself and understanding, he's suffering, immensely suffering. Still to this day, he is suffering so much and has so much shame and guilt that he cannot be a good father to me, because he knows my power. And to this day, he still has this guilt and shame and is threatened of my life, that he doesn't even want to be a part of it. He's more afraid to come and be like, how are you? What's the life that you're living? He would rather go talk to the drug addicts in my family than talk to me, because I reflect to him what he isn't. And that's because he's just a human. He's not my dad.
Yeah.
He's a human. Yeah. And the human experience is messy.
Yep.
That brings me to another question. Soul family. So we're all reuniting here as soul family. What makes people just a closer soul family? Like other spiritual people in another group, let's say, like we're all one, right? And they're awakened souls, let's say.
Let's call it something else. Chosen family.
Okay. Chosen family.
Your soul is choosing this as your family. That's the difference. Our soul chose to come into the bloodline that we did because of karma and lessons and all of that. But our awakened consciousness is choosing to be here and to experience this. And we all have to choose it to align to become this family. This is family dinner. This is the best of the family dinners that I've ever had from when I was a child, right? This overpowers that in my world. And so soul family, I feel, is just a very, I would even say maybe like new age way of saying like the family that we choose. And every day that I wake up and I present myself to each one of you, I'm choosing you. So you're my family, Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have I'm dedicated to that, and I have a responsibility for that because I choose to. You can at any point choose to not have that responsibility or that dedication to someone, and that's okay as well. And we can adjust and move and whatever. But other people are doing this, and they're gathering in their way. That's their connection. From the way I've been shown is my role in this mission of bringing us all together was putting myself out there on all these different social media platforms so that each one of you could see me and remember something and go, I think I'm supposed to be there. And then that's how we get to connect with each other. That was my part in the mission, and then I just continued to unlock my information, and I'm of service to you. This is my service. And you're learning to do the same. You're unlocking the information to be able to do the same. And then we just create these beautiful spider webs of higher consciousness information.
So one thing I am actively learning from is this sort of detaching from the lifestyles and the afflictions of my birth family, and it brings up some sadness because I want to see them do well. Right?
So let's choose the opposite, equal, higher frequency of detaching. You can say, I'm detaching from them, and it's a low frequency. It's a low expression to say, detaching from my family. It's sad.
Yeah.
Or you can say, I'm choosing myself more. I am choosing myself more, which is organically moving, and I'm not aligned with my bloodline as much anymore. So it's a perception thing, and it's how we speak about it. Detachment. It is a kind of a low vibe to say that, but it's because it's not. That's just one perception of it. That's the lowest expression perception. A higher expression perception would be, I'm choosing myself. And not everybody that I have known in my old identity is going to align with this new person. And that's okay. But I love myself so much that I'm going to continue to choose me over and over and over again. And people who don't honor that choice, they're not going to stay in my life. And that's where this journey gets lonely, the in-between phase. But you chose to be here, so you're not alone. You chose to be here with all these beautiful people, all these beautiful mirrors that we get to learn and grow with. So that's the beauty of this, creating spaces like this for us on this journey, is that we aren't alone. We don't have to go through it alone, but every one of us at some point on our awakening path has probably felt pretty alone, because we're like, nobody gets me, I'm different now, all of these thoughts that we have, but now we're here. So there's going to be lots of your old identity that falls away, that doesn't align anymore. But whenever you are choosing you won't suffer from that, because you are peace, and you don't need them to be peace. You don't need those people to embody peace. You are peace. Does that answer your question?
I feel like there's easy to be a lot of guilt with
right?
that.
Right. That's the program.
And also because that's my blood family, so
that's the program.
Guilt.
The program says they're blood family, so I have to choose them over me. Yeah. That's a the family program is very, very, very deep. That is the deepest one for us to manage on this path. Is like, they might be blood, but there's absolutely nothing in me that aligns with this person. So why am I going to continue to suffer just to talk to them so that they feel better? But I feel worse when I do it. That's not serving me. That's not choosing me. I'm not prioritizing my peace if that's the way. If they're blood and I feel beautiful and happy and I get to share my life, we get to share in experiences, awesome. We're aligning. But if I talk to you and the first thing you do is complain about all these things, I'm like, that doesn't bring me peace. I don't gossip. It's not my way anymore. So, that's why I don't talk on the phone with my family. They don't have a lot of high frequency things to talk about. There's always something going on that they are attached to that's low vibration. So they know. They're not going to tell me because I'm going to go, that's too bad.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope you get happier. I don't know.
It's also like I feel personally like well, now I grew up with adoptive parents, but still it was like always that for them. I felt like they always felt like they had like this free card of like using it against me. Like, we gave you this life.
Conditional love.
We gave you this life. We
Absolutely
did everything for you. We bought you this. We all that stuff. And I would feel so much guilt until the point where I just I just gave up on myself.
Yeah.
And I choose to command, no, please.
Yeah.
Please stop.
You did that up until very recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, you allowed their conditions to rule your world and you suffered until recently. Very, very recently. You chose to prioritize your peace, and your mother's pissed about it.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't serve them. Like, it's not our responsibility to teach or heal our family. Like, we don't need to concern ourselves with if they're learning their conscious lessons through the way that we are choosing ourselves. It's not important. But it doesn't benefit us in any way if we don't have these boundaries and we don't keep them. So we need to have them, and we need to hold them strong. And if they don't want to align at least to that, so that we can have a relationship in any way, then we'll most likely not have a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And we can't hope that they learn that. I hope that she gets it and changes her ways. Can't expect that of an unconscious person. They're going to just stay in their victim mentality.
What are some healthy boundaries to set with our immediate family? Like,
Well, it depends on where it is that you feel like. Do you feel like you are supposed to talk to them or call them and check on them? Because if you don't, then they're going to be upset. Are you in that phase, or?
no, I'm just at a point where I just like talking to them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The only bad thing that or not bad, but the only thing that I just didn't like about the conversation was how my brother described his boss as acting cunty. So, like, just talking ill of others.
Right.
So,
It didn't resonate with you anymore.
Right.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
Right, because gossip it's off you. Gossip is low vibe. But you have to also remember, you're judging him. You're judging him by choosing low vibe. So it's like, if you don't like it, that means you're judging him by his choices, right? So it's a reflection to you. And that's probably why you're still wanting to talk to them, because you're learning things through it. But when you talk and you're like, it's unfortunate that you chose a boss. I hope you learned something from him. Whatever you need to say. But the more we hold that high frequency and we don't allow their low frequency, low vibe to penetrate us, and we stay here, they're not going to want to talk to us anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want that. People who like to be miserable, they're going to want to stay that way. And if they talk to someone who doesn't resonate with their low vibe, they're not going to talk to you anymore. So it's like,
And I keep
organic.
giving myself another reason to feel something